do anything disgusting. You should not do anything disgusting. It's a pasuk in the Torah. Bal teshaktu. Teshaktu. Amen. Not eat in a disgusting manner. You're fine. Your mouth is closed. It's okay. I allow you to eat. It's fine. But so that's it. I think what's considered to be the acceptable culture is fine. Nowadays we use knife and fork in most places in the Western world. Chopsticks. Chopsticks. At home you use chopsticks, Stephen? At home, chopsticks?
Not so much.
Not so much.
It's very dangerous. We know because our children, they don't know.
The children don't know?
They're not so good.
Not so good at it. Amen, amen. And then some people, they kids, they give them a plate of cookies. So they'll pick up a cookie, look at it, put it down again, and then take a different one. And so all their dirty hands touch the central plate. So this is something you have to learn to respect others. Someone else drank. You don't drink straight out of the bottle, because then all of your mouth liquids will go back into the bottle, and then somebody else will get them. And there's a little bit of there's a disgusting factor, which is a halachic issue. And so you have to learn what the sensitivities are. You shouldn't pick your nose in public. Things which are fine to do in private are not for the public. It's because people consider it disgusting. And here I noticed for a few times that when I got to Israel, it was more common, I think in Eastern countries, to spit. The Talmud speaks about spitting. How you should spit if you see someone eating and you don't eat, so all sorts of buildup in your mouth. You should spit it out because it's dangerous for you. So spitting is more acceptable in certain cultures and less in others. Some people don't use tissues to their nose; they just sort of swallow it, and spit it out. All sorts of different customs like that. So it's important to be aware, because you're not supposed to do things disgusting for yourself. You're not supposed to eat in a disgusting way, stuff your face, so that and make yourself sick. If you eat foods which are bad for you, it's another issue of maybe eating, doing things to make yourself healthy, as opposed to protecting your body, preserving it. But I want to stay on the issue of, things which are considered disgusting. Of course, eating snails and snakes, and those are just not kosher. But even if you could find a kosher type of food, if the people around you consider it disgusting, and it's considered disgusting by society, a certain combination, or my son, when he was young, he liked to mix things. We call them making potions. Yeah, you like that too? Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. But if people are going to be disgusted by if you take some food and you put it in there, then it's a problem. Bal teshaktu. Do not make your souls et nafshotechem. Do not make your souls disgusting. Another aspect of this halacha is going to the bathroom. Going to the bathroom is really an amazing part of the biological system, where we have the ability to eat food, good food, which is going to give us nourishment, to give us energy and nutrition, and then our bodies know what we don't need, and they leave it. They leave it and they get it out as waste. And the truth is, this idea, this idea is not only about food. Sometimes in the recent times. There's a concept of you okay? Everything all right? Yeah. Yes.
I have to go now to Netanya. It's okay if I skip this class. Only for
Yeah.
today.
Okay.
I just spoke with Harav this
Sure. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay, you look nice.
Huh?
New glasses?
Huh?
New
yeah,
glasses?
new glasses. So
Okay.
yeah, I need it. So I mean, if I
For close, you don't.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Anyways, good luck. Betzlacha. Okay, sorry. Say again?
You said Shekmeri from new glasses?
Sure, if you happy about it, sure. It's a new purchase, yeah, good idea. But I don't know if they're still new. I'm not sure, but maybe. Anyways, I was talking about the waste that it's not only about food. It's also some things that you have memories. You see sights nowadays. You see so much on the news, on the media, and you really some bad stuff. The terrorist organizations that are doing psychological warfare, and they're showing us all sorts of things which we shouldn't be seeing, all sorts of disgusting acts. So if you do happen to see it, you want to be able to forget it. Well, Hashem, Baruch Hashem, gave us forgetfulness, the ability to forget. I think our brains would explode if we remembered every little detail and every little experience that we had. Scary, huh? So forget. So it's another form of waste product. Another form of letting go, moving ahead. You know all sorts of information. We have to learn to filter and keep the important things, and get rid of the things which are not important, things which are even harmful. It's a wonderful idea. I want to share with you the following article that I found many years ago. I think it's powerful. We'll read it together about this bracha, the Asher Yatzar. And this fellow, who is a doctor actually, he says, it took me several decades to realize the wisdom lay behind this blessing that was composed by Abaye, 4th century Babylonian rabbi. I'm reading the third paragraph now. Maybe Stephen, you'll read for us a little bit. Abaye's blessing is contained in the Talmud.
Abaye's blessing is contained in Talmud, an encyclopedic work of Jewish law and law that was written over the first 5 centuries of the Common Era. The Jewish religion is chock full of this blessing, as they are all in Hebrew. In fact, an entire tractate of Talmud, 128 pages in length, is devoted to the Barakah. On the page 120, Barakah 60b of the ancient text is written, Abaye said, when one comes out of the privy, he should say, blessed is he who has formed man in wisdom and created him many orifices and many captivities. It is obvious and known before your throne of glory that if one of them were to be ruptured or one of them blocked, it would be impossible for a man to survive and stand before you. Blessed are you that heal all flesh and does wonders. An observant Jew is supposed to recite this blessing in Hebrew after each visit to the Barakah. We young yeshiva students were reminded of our obligation to recite this prayer by the sign that contained this text that were posted just outside the rest room door. It is one thing, however, to post this sign, and it is quite another to realistically expect pre-adolescents to have the maturity to realize the wisdom of and need for reciting a 1,600 years old blessing related to bodily function. It was not until my second year of medical school that I first began to understand the appropriateness of this this short prayer,
Pathophysiology.
brought-
Physiology, yeah.
pathophysiology brought home to me the terrible consequences of even minor aberration in the structure and function of the human body. At the very least, I began to no longer to take for granted the normality of my trip to the bathroom. Instead, I started to realize how many things had to operate just right for this minor interruption of my daily routine to run smoothly.
Okay, Eva, if you want to continue.
Oh, where are we?
I thought of Abaye.
I thought of Abaya and his blessing and recalled my days at Yeshiva and remembered how silly that sign outside the bathroom had seemed. But after seeing patients whose lives revolved around their dialysis machines, another with colostomies and urinary catheters. Great subject for breakfast.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't tell you to eat now. I eaten already. So.
I realized how wise the rabbi has been, and then it happened. I began to recite Abaya's bracha. At first, I had to go back to my siddur, the Jewish prayer book, to get the right text, the text right. With repetition, there were many opportunities for a novice to get to know this blessing well. I could recite it fluently and with sincerity and understanding. Over the years, reciting the Shema has become for me an opportunity to offer thanks not just for the proper functioning of excretory organs, but for my overall good health. The text, after all, refers to catastrophic consequences of the rupture or the obstruction of any bodily structure, not only those of urinary and gastrointestinal tract. Could I, for example, have foreseen that the blockage of the cavity or lumen of the coronary artery would lead to the commonest cause of death in industrialized countries in some 16 centuries later?
Wow, so he's talking about heart disease, right? That's also a cavity. That's also an artery, which could be blocked up. And that's the primary cause of death until today. Yeah, heart disease. Okay, so, yeah, keep going, please. Yeah.
I have often wondered if other people also yearn for some way to express gratitude for their good health. Physicians, especially, who are exposed daily to the ravages that illness can wreak, must sometimes feel the need to express thanks for being well and thus well-being. Perhaps a generate non-denominational composed for those who want to realize the gratitude for being blessed with good health. There was one unforgettable patient whose story reinforced the truth and beauty of Asher for me forever. Josh was a 20-year-old student who sustained an unstable fracture in his third and fourth cervical vertebrae in a motor vehicle crash. He nearly died from his injury and required emergency intubation and ventilatory support. He was initially totally quadriplegic, but for weak flexion of his right biceps. A long and difficult period of stabilization and rehabilitation followed. There were promising signs of neurological recovery over the first few months that came suddenly and unexpectedly. Movement of a finger here, flexion of a toe there, return of sensation here, adduction of a muscle group there. With incredible courage, hard work, and an excellent physical therapist, Josh improved day by day. In time, and after what seemed like a miracle, he was able to walk slowly, with a leg brace and a cane. But Josh continued to require intermittent catheterization.
Catheter, you know what a catheter is?
Yeah.
A catheter is a tube which enables you to go to the bathroom when you can't in the normal way. Go ahead.
I knew too well the problems and perils this young man would face for the rest of his life because of the neurogenic plaque. The urologists were pessimistic about his chances of requiring catheterization. They had not seen this occur after spinal cord injury of this severity. Then the impossible happened. I was pregnant. George no longer required urinary catheter. I thought of Abai's Asher prayer, pointing out that I could not imagine a more meaningful scenario for its recitation. I suggested to George, who was also a Shiva graduate, that he say the prayer. He agreed as he recited the ancient bracha, tears welled in my eyes. George is my son. No way. Can't encourage him.
Powerful story, right?
It's not Prager. Prager
It's not Dennis Prager, no. I don't know if he's related, but so doctor, MD. It's an old story, but very powerfully written, and it describes this bracha that, like you see around the yeshiva, they have signs up outside the bathroom, something that is part of our lives as blessing saying Jews, and I want to make sure that everybody's in the right direction, saying it every day. And we say it, of course, once in the morning, part of the morning blessings, but also it appears on page 1083. 1083, it appears a second time as part of the list of blessings. So we should practice that. I don't know if you say, who's here says it in Hebrew? Who says the bracha in Hebrew? No? Gedalia? No? Depends on whether you feel grateful or right. It's a trick to get. We say in the morning blessings, Baruch Hashem Elokeinu Yehi Ratzon Fanecha Shetargilenu b'mitzvotecha. The hargil, ragil, is something usual to make us habituated in the mitzvot. We want the mitzvot to become part of the way we live our lives, and so naturally, the brachos should be something that you do. Not that you should do them mindlessly. Mindful is ideal, but better doing them than not doing them at all. So here you have this fellow who learned the bracha, and then at the right time he was able to be able to give the very heartfelt expression Asher Yatzar. When you go to the bathroom daily, a number of times, it can become a routine matter of you say it by rote without thinking about it, but ideally you should be mindful and think about it. And clearly, when you find illness, when you see that there's a problem with the cavities and arteries that get blocked up or opened up when they should be stopped, you appreciate much more. Essentially, what he describes also here is that this bracha, as he says, is penned by Abaye in the Talmud. This bracha refers to good health in general. It's not only about the bathroom. It's about we're thanking Hashem for giving us a working body. And we saw that in the morning blessings, actually, let's open it up. But you can see on 1083 at the bottom, there's the Asher Yatzar blessing, but it appears one more time. If you look on page 9 and 8, it's page 6 and 7. We say it in the morning. That's nice big letters here on page 6 and 7. It's the same bracha, Asher Yatzar. We say it every morning. The assumption is you get up in the bathroom, you usually have to empty your bladder. In the morning you get out from bed, you have to empty your bladder. And then we say the next bracha, which is only once a day, on page 8 and 9, Elokai Deshama. We thank Hashem for giving us the soul. And the truth is that the brachos are connected. Because at the end of page 7, 6 and 7, the end of this bracha, which we're going to focus on now, Asher Yatzar, the ending is, healer of all flesh who does wondrous deeds, on page 6. Healer, mafli lasot. So what's pele? Pele is wonder. What's wondrous, so the Talmud, the Tur, Rabbi Yaakov, who the author of this halacha book, became a foundational work of Jewish halacha, he explains that what's wondrous about the human body is two things. Number one, of course, what we've been saying up till now, that there's this whole mechanism that, things that should be open and things that should be closed, and if one of them was something that's closed is ruptured or something that's open is blocked, then, a tiny little thing somewhere and you could very quickly find yourself in the hospital or worse. So that appreciating the intricacy and the wisdom of the Creator of the physical body is one part. But the Torah adds a second part, and he says this is the key to when it talks about the wonder. The wondrous part of this blessing is that within this body there is a soul, and the soul lives in a physical body, and it's an amazing feature. It's an amazing thing where you have the soul, which is essentially a spirit. Essentially, it's not something physical, and yet it is connected intrinsically to once our bodies die, for whatever reason, hopefully not as tragic as some of the horrible deaths we've been reading about and hearing about from the front. But whatever reason, even if you reach 120 years, your body runs down slowly, and different functions falter. At the end of the day, the body cannot survive anymore. We say that the soul has no place in this world. There's nowhere to dwell in this world, and goes to another place. So that's the second bracha on page 8 and 9, sort of like the pair to Asher Yatzar is the soul, about the bracha about the soul. And that we really say only once in the morning when we wake up. See, when I was asleep, it was like my soul, I was dead. And Neshama shechazar tabi, we even said that in the Modani, on page 1, or I think it's page 5 in this book. Right? The first prayer that you say even before you wash your hands, shechazar tabi nishmati, that you have given me back my soul in mercy. So it's like your soul leaves you when you're sleeping, comes back to you. So this body has the combination of body and soul, our human existence. And now the Torah says that's the wonder. That's the wonder aspect. It's not just the physical mechanism which we're thanking Hashem for, but the wonder that we're alive within this mechanical robot. We're not robots. We're not just the mechanistic view, the materialistic view just says that we're a combination of neurons and molecules and atoms arranged in a certain way. We believe that there's a soul, that there is a spiritual component of the human being, which enables us to accomplish a lot more than any other creature on the face of the earth. So that's the wonder. Rofei Chol Basar, healer of all flesh, who does wondrous deeds. So this is a great introduction to our practice. Are you ready to practice with me? So everybody turn to page 7, and that's the big letters. We'll say it out loud. I'll say you repeat after me because I want to make sure you learn the Hebrew. Yisrael, you with me? How you doing this morning? You feeling okay? Baruch Hashem, Yofi. Do you say the Asher Yatzar in Chinese or in Hebrew? Hebrew. All right, so let's make sure that all the words are being said correctly. So repeat after me. Baruch Ata Hashem. Elokeinu melech haolam. Asher Yatzar. Et ha'adam. Bechochma. Uvara vo. Uvara vo. You see, there's no dot in the bet. Uvara vo. Nekavim, nekavim. Halulim, halulim. Galui ve'adua. It's a little bit of a tongue twister. Galui ve'yadua. Lifnei chisei chavodecha. Here too, the chafs don't have a dot in them, right? It's chisei. Because of the grammatical reasons of the way the words are combined, the chaf at the beginning of the word, it doesn't have the dot in it. And so just like it was uvaravo without the dots, it's v'chisei chavodecha. Chisei chavodecha. She'im yipateach. Again, she'im yipateach. Right, when you have the patach, that line underneath the last letter of the word, underneath het, you actually pronounce it. You don't say yipatecha as you would expect, but it's yipateach. You sort of add an aleph in there, as if there's the line, the patach is the vowel is underneath the aleph. Im yipatei ach. Im yipatei ach.
This line?
Yeah, that line. It's called the patach. It's as if there's an aleph there. Im yipatei ach. That's right. The chet is only there at the end as the guttural that ends up the syllable. You don't vowelize the consonant itself. She'im yipatei ach. Echad mehem. O yisatem. Echad mehem. I efshar. What's I efshar mean? You should know that from modern Hebrew. I efshar. Impossible. Efshar is possible. I efshar, impossible. I is sort of like a short form for aim, which is not possible. So, I efshar lehitkayem ולעמוד לפניך. Baruch Ata Hashem. Rofeh Chol Basar. You see that there's no dot in the Chaf. Rofeh Chol Basar. Umafli La'asot. The Aleph is silent at the end of Mafli. Mafli. You don't really change the vowelization. You just follow the dot. The dot under the lamed is the last really sound that you make. Umafli La'asot. La'asot. Okay. Ready? One at a time. Yisrael, you start us off. Let's hear you recite Asher Yatzar. If you know it off by heart, good. Let's hear.
ברוך אתה השם אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר יצא אתה לעמה ולעולם ומכלים העולים כבוגריה ולמיני כסף כבוגריה שהיא יפניה מכסף כפיתות
שאם ייפתה אח.
יפניה
ייפתה אח. אח. It's as if there's an A-H. Ach. The chet comes only at the end. No. Yipate ach. No, not cha. Ach. 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 Exactly. Ach. Exactly. She'im yipate ach. 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 How do you say brother in Hebrew? How do you say brother in Hebrew? Ach. Ach. Ach is brother. How do you say sister? Achot. Ach. 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 So, im yipate ach. Okay, go ahead. Im yipate ach. No? That's why it's so important to review, because sometimes you learn it wrong and it's hard to change. The pronunciation is im yipate ach. No? You practice it. Shem yipate ach. Ach. Ah starts here, but ends with the chet. Ach. Ach. Not with the cha at the end. Ach. There's no movement to the guttural. Shem yipate ach. Good. Okay, you'll keep practicing it all day. Echad mehem, continue. Echad mehem. Yafe. Okay. Shmuel, you're in the middle. You have to practice, yeah. Okay. You're in the middle benching. I understand. Fine. Okay, Yov. You're on.
Baruch אתה השם אלוהים מלך העולם, אשר יצר את האדם בחוכמה, וברא בו נקבים, גלוי, וידוע לפני כיסא כבודך, שאם יתפתח אחד מכם, הוא יסתם, או יסתם אחד מכם. אי אפשר
להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה השם רופא כל בשר ומביא לעשות. יפה. Good.
It's a sin, not a shin.
Sot, yes, it's a sin, not a shin. Yeah, absolutely. Some versions have an extra 3 words. Before the Baruch Atah Hashem, they add, it is impossible to strive and stand before you even 1 hour. Even 1 moment is what it means. Afilu sha'a achat. This text doesn't have those 3 words, but your Siddur might, but we're using this one, so we could. It's just 3 extra words. It's not a major difference. Okay, Stephen. Let's hear. It's okay.
מקומם ובורו, בו נקבים, גלוי וידוע לפני כיסא כבודך, שאם יתפתח מהם או יסתם אחד מהם או יסתם
אפשר. SH. It's a shin. אפשר. להתקיים
ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה אדוני רופא כל בשר ומביא לעשות.
יפה, רופא כל בשר, right? It's a chaf. Okay. Gedalia, you're on.
Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam asher yotzer et ha'adam b'chachema u'varo vo nekavim halolim gelui veyadoa לפני כיסא כבודך שאם יפתח אחד יפתח אחד מהם הוא יסתם אחד מהם אם אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה השם רופא כל בשר ומביא לעשות.
Fair. Who's your doctor? How do you say doctor in Hebrew? Rofeh. See that? It's the last line. Rofeh chol basar. All of flesh. Rofeh chol basar. We thank Hashem for being the healer of all flesh. Can you imagine? Did you ever picture God as with a white coat?
No.
It's a doctor doing the rounds, going from house to house with a stethoscope. He's the healer of all flesh. Umafli la'asot, who does wonders. Okay, Shmuel, let's hear it. Hashem. It's up to you. I mean, I think that if you're practicing, you can say Hashem's name, but Yi, 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 Pa, Te, Ach. Okay, guys, 19 years. 19 years. You'll be able to read like that. His Hebrews. 19 years is in Israel. Don't think that it's very simple. Yafeh. Practice. Good. Yeah. How long have you been saying this bracha? A year, 2 years, a year? So 6 months. But you've been saying it religiously, as you could say.
Yeah. I got it memorized with my mistakes probably.
Yipateh ach. Yeah, yipateh ach.
It's no different in the Sephardi, what I'm reading on the wall.
No different. No, there's a one word, like I said, afilu sha'achat, 3 words that they add, and afilu sha'achat, that's missing here, yeah. Okay. So go back to page 1077. I want to show you something else. This is getting ready already for Tu B'Shvat. You know that in 2 days it's going to be, we're going to be celebrating Tu B'Shvat. We're going to talk about what it means. You're going to go on a volunteer to help a farmer in the field. Thursday. Thursday is the day. But even before that, Wednesday, we're having a English department celebration at 11 o'clock.
We're having a Seder.
And then at night, we're having a Seder. And the 11 o'clock, we're just going to have a gathering. There'll be food.
On Thursday.
On Wednesday. Thursday, we're going out. So Wednesday, we're having a special gathering at 11 a.m. It's on the board. Sorry?
How long are we going to be on Thursday?
Thursday won't be late. It won't be too
What
late.
type of agriculture?
I think it's picking lemons, actually.
Okay, that's tolerable.
That's nice.
What's that?
That's tolerable.
Tolerable. Okay. All right.
I don't know.
That's right. The volunteerism is just pouring out of your ears
They
here.
made us do it every day. After the
You did a
start
lot.
reading
I
shit.
know. Okay.
It's
Okay.
not my favorite.
I understand. Well, once every, what did we do it? A month ago we did it? So once a month, I think it's a good balance. It's important to
When
participate.
you have to go out all day, every day for a month straight and play
Mm.
onions, you will not like it.
I understand. Yeah, I hear that. Might be, it's a big mitzvah what you were doing, but also, it was sort of a necessity because all the teachers were in the army, so you didn't have any teachers there. So I think that was part of it.
I mean, our teacher was there, the English teacher was there.
Okay, whatever it is. All right, and it's turn page 1077. There's brachot before mitzvot. Now there's a mitzvah in the land of Israel to make the food kosher. The fruits and vegetables that you grow in the land, you have to separate certain tithes. I'd like to go over this with you. Sometimes this idea of Tu B'Shvat, everybody, you can draw a picture. If you have a pen, you can turn the page over. Turn the page over and draw the following picture of a circle. Circle's going to be divided up into 7. This is 7th year. And then, so this is the first year. So obviously this is the beginning of the cycle. And 2, and 3, 4, 5. Oh, I got too many. I know 6 is too big, so I gotta make these bigger here. I got 5, 4, 5, 6. Okay. The 3 should bring me down closer. That's good enough. You got 7 years in the cycle. There's a cycle of the Jewish calendar. That's the way we work it today. In the Torah, it's described that you should have a 7-year cycle, but there's actually an additional year. In here, there's every 7 years, there is the Yovel. The Jubilee year. We don't practice that anymore because we don't really have The Shemitah probably is not biblical either,
is
because
Yovel
the
Hakel?
no, Hakel is held on the every seventh at the end of the 7th year, so it's not the same thing. Jubilee year is the 50th year. This is year 50. That's what Yovel. By the way, my son's name is Yovel because he was born, and his brit was the day before the 50th anniversary of the state of Israel. So excited to celebrate the 50th year of the state of Israel. We called him Yovel, Yovel Yisrael, to be more precise. In any case, so there's 7 years. We don't have the Yovel now, so basically we just go 7 years, 7 years, 7 years. The 7th year, of course, is the Shemitah year. That's a very different one from all the others. So this is called Shemitah. Shemitah year, very special laws. The Torah says the produce of the land doesn't belong to you. You have
Is
to.
it Yud Vav?
Yovel, yes, Yud Vav Vet Lamed. Yovel, yeah. So far, so good. Shemitah year is different. It's a separate, special year. It's like Shabbat.
So we are on the
6
second,
days of the week, and then the 7th day is Shabbat.
we're on the second year now? Or third year?
Right now, we're in the
Third, no, second.
2nd, I believe. 2nd year. When was Shemitah?
2000,
I can't remember precisely, but
2020?
I have to check. I think it's the 2nd year.
No, not last year.
How do you spell Shemitah in Hebrew?
Shemitah? Shin, Mem, Yud.
It was Shemitah.
So this is only the first year after the Shemitah. This is year 1. Okay. I think you might be right, but whatever. We'll look it up. Okay, so what's the difference? Why do we need this? Obviously, the Shemitah year is very different. The Shemitah year, you're not allowed to plant. You're not allowed to work the land. You have to let it fallow. The fruit, whatever grows, the fruit grows year by year from the trees. You harvest them, but you're not allowed to harvest them for yourself. You only harvest whatever you're going to eat. It's not like it's your orchard anymore.
It's God's
So
orchard.
the poor, it's God's orchard. It's the public. It's free for everybody. So the poor people can come and take from the orchard as if it's their own orchard. And no individual is allowed to harvest wholesale and sell it on the market. You're not allowed to sell the produce of the 7th year. It's a whole difference. It's very communist, very socialist
Interesting.
in some ways. The 7th year, there's no private owned produce. Very interesting. So the 7th year is very, very different. So obviously the 7-year cycle is, like I said, 6 days leading up to the 7th day. The 6 years leading up to the 7th year. Now, why am I mentioning this? Why are we talking about this now? Because Tu B'Shvat is an interesting calendar day, because when do you think the difference between year 1 and year 7, year 2, year 3, when does the new year start? We talked about it many times. When does the new year start? Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is the new year, not for the months. The months, we start with Nisan, right? That's coming up soon. We're almost finished. We're in the 11th month out of the 12. We're in Shvat, Tu B'Shvat. So it's 11th month. So what does that have to do? What's the calendar date in the 11th month when it really? So the truth is, when it comes to this cycle, we don't go by the Nisan. We don't go by the first month of the year. We go by the beginning of the year, which is, as we know, we blow the shofar at the beginning of the fall, beginning of the agricultural season, which is the 7th month. So the new year actually starts in Tishrei. The first of Tishrei is Rosh Hashanah. So the first of Tishrei is when the new year starts, right? Tishrei, every year changes. Tishrei, like, so what year are we in now? 5784. Get with the times. 5784. I had a teacher. He's still with us, Baruch Hashem. He's still active. Rabbi Rekefet. He was a curious fellow. He was a wonderful teacher. And he says at the beginning of every class, he would always talk into a microphone. He recorded all of his classes. Now I have the YouTube, so. But he would take the microphone and say, "Today is the 11th of Shvat, 5785." He would always say, a year ahead. As he said, a little curious. He always said a year ahead. I think he was trying to teach us to think forward, to think about the future, and not just be stuck in where we are. But it's a curious thing to say the wrong date at the beginning of every class. But anyways, he did start off with saying the class, the date. Anyways, now we're in year 5784. And I think 5783 was a Shemitah year, if I'm not mistaken. I have to check it. Now 5784. So when does that switch? When did we finish 5783 and go to 5784? Tishrei, Rosh Hashanah, the first of Tishrei, number one, right? The first of Tishrei. First of Tishrei. First of Tishrei. This has seen better days. Not much here.
What happens at the year 6000?
6001.
No, it's like a Shabbat.
You're saying that there's a cycle of thousands of years in history. Fascinating. There is a tradition, of course, that the cycle of history has 7,000 years also. And the 7,000th has some equivalent to Shabbat. Usually it's explained that that's when Mashiach's era will start. Bezrat Hashem, even before that. There's a neighbor I have who has a band, a Jewish rock band he had for many years. It was called Reva L'Sheva.
Reva L'Sheva.
Reva L'Sheva. A quarter, Reva is a quarter. It's a quarter to 7. Why didn't he say 3:15? What kind of name is that? Reva L'Sheva, a quarter to 7? Because 7 o'clock, that's Mashiach. That's 7,000. When the 7,000 that were the beginning of the millennium, of the 7th millennium is 6001, right? The year 6000. So here we are in 5784. We're before a quarter of an hour, a quarter or 250 years before the 7,000. But the truth is, we don't really have this is not a halacha. This is not something that we know for sure. We don't know the future, and there was no prophecy that says specifically in year 6000 Mashiach is going to come. There are traditions, of course, and we're very hopeful because of those traditions that as the years progress, the history of the Jewish people will lead us towards perfection. Right? Mashiach means perfect. The world is no more wars, peace on earth. Everybody will be completely connected to Hashem, doing all the mitzvot. So this is our vision of Mashiach time, of the end of days, as it's called. Do we know specifically it's going to happen at year 6000? I don't think anybody is willing to sign on a dotted line. What's going to happen in 200? How many years left? 217 years, 16 years left? 216 years, not so far off. I don't know if I'll be alive. Who knows? Science is progressing. Maybe there'll be a magic pill and enable me to live. That's also true. Who knows? That's right. One of the features of the future world is that there'll be Tchiyat HaMetim, reincarnation. Who knows? In any case, we don't know. We don't know for sure, but there is tradition about this 7,000 year cycle as well as the 7-year cycle. But let's focus on what we do know. The mitzvot of the Torah. They tell us that we have to count 7 years. Truth is, it's not each and every individual counts the 7 years.
Yeah.
You don't have to say, today is, like what else do we count? And we have to say, today is, right, the Omer. We're supposed to count. Today is one day of the Omer up until 49 days, 7 weeks. So we count every day, and this is 1 week and 1 day. 2 weeks and 3 days, sorry? Very similar. It's the same 7 cycle. Which goes back to when was the first time the 7 cycle is mentioned in the Torah? try again. When is the first time that the cycle of 7 is mentioned in the Torah?
It's
Pretty easy. It's pretty easy. That chapter 1, guys. Okay, cycle of 7 days. Of the world was created in 7 days. God created the world. Trick question? It wasn't a trick question at all.
Very vague question.
Yeah.
Too much meat. Wow.
A cycle of, of course it's connecting us to God created the world in 7 days. Isn't it obvious? Does the weekly Shabbat cycle of the week not remind us of Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshit? Remember that God created the world? It's obvious. So clearly the 7 years also is to remind us that God created not only the physical world, the spiritual world. He created time itself. And all these cycles of 7 remind us that God created the world. Okay, but this is unique. To have a cycle of 7 years where the 7th year is different, is special, is a very powerful system. Yeah, question. Go ahead. Yeah.
We have 3 different New Years.
4.
4 different years.
Yeah.
Because we have Tishrei.
Yeah.
We have Nisan.
Yes.
2 Bishvat.
Yes.
What's
The 4th is it's a Mishnah in Masechet Rosh Hashanah. It says Arba Rashi Shanim Hem. B'chad b'Nisan Rosh Hashanah Lemlachim V'ler Galim. It's the beginning of the year for kings. Kings are counted by Nisan, and the holidays start with Nisan. Obviously, Pesach is first, and then Shavuot, and then Sukkot. B'chad b'Nisan Rosh Hashanah Lemlachim V'ler Galim. B'chad be'Adar, I believe. Rosh Hashanah Shkalim, if I'm not mistaken.
Financial year?
Yeah, the taxes of money that you have to give to the temple. I think that was in Adar, which is a month before Nisan. And then of course you have Achad B'Tishrei, Rosh Hashanah L'Shmitin V'Le'Yovlot, which is Shemitah, Yovel, right? It's just the plural, Shmitin, and Yovlot. And then we have, of course, Rosh Chad Shvat. Beit Shammai says it's the first of Shvat. Beit Hillel says Tu Bishvat is Rosh Hashanah La'ilanot, for the trees. Now, what does that mean? Wait, we have an agricultural cycle here, and we're going to see that what matters which year you're in, not only because of the 7th year. But wait, let's talk about the 7th year before we talk about all the other laws. The 7th year, we said, so far, you're not allowed to eat the fruit of the tree as it's your own. You're allowed to eat it, but you're not allowed to waste it. You're not allowed to sell it. When does that year begin? The beginning of Shemitah. When does that start? When does Shemitah start?
Right, in year 1.
And what? When does the Shemitah year start? When does Shemitah year start? We said the first year starts on the first of Tishrei. Second year, first of Tishrei. Third year, first of Tishrei. Like every other year, that's when the years start. You can't mess up with the system. Aha! It's true. But there is an exception for fruit trees. Rosh Hashanah La'ilan. For the trees, fruit trees, the new year is not the first of Tishrei. It's actually Tu B'Shvat, which is how many months later?
6 months.
From Tishrei, Cheshvan Kislev, Tevet,
4.5 months.
Shvat. Right, so 4.5
Beginning of
months.
Shvat or the middle of Shvat?
It's the Machloket Beit Shammai Beit Hillel.
I read somewhere that we lost some of the Jewish year, like people didn't count.
Well, it depends on whether we say when we count the 50th year or not. You can look at that. I'll be right back. Okay. Excuse me.
Wow. That's it.
There's a roommate.
My roommate?
I was 8.
No, where is he?
Yosef?
Where is he?
No, yesterday you.
No, he came for just to check up Machon Meir. He's doing his Masada program. Tomorrow I'll not be here. I go for a wedding.
Another one? Didn't you have like a wedding last week?
This week.
Since I hear.
I know, we've done 2.
I did like 20, I think.
Seriously? Right. I was going to do another 8.
Where's the wedding?
What?
Where's the wedding?
What the pancake is not
Check today.
it's not
It's in the north. I think the
how much
Sheva.
pancake?
Shows in the south.
If you have like 30 pancakes,
Yeah.
it's mezonot. It's what?
How much?
If you have 2 pancakes, it's mezonot. If it's a full meal
Yeah,
and it's all pancakes,
yeah.
it's motzi.
Oh,
But if it's a little bit like 2 pancakes, 3 pancakes, mezonot.
oh, yeah. Also, some people say
You get the tea then.
Like
That's
pasta.
why different.
Like pasta, because it's not bread.
Oh,
Yeah.
But mezonot, no sorry, motzi is also for a meal.
oh,
For-
yeah.
for-
Oh,
for-
I see.
And
And pizza also.
That's
If it's like a lot of
double
pizza.
nine.
Yeah, also. Oh. But how depend on the size? If the pancake is a small size.
It's for you in your stomach. If you're full,
Oh,
if
I
you feel,
see.
then it's a motzi. Okay. Oh, wow. Wow. Ah! Your feet. Because Rabbi was in this. We did this in the, and I understand nothing.
Yeah.
I understood nothing.
Yeah, this is better. Last week.
No.
It's very complicated system.
No. What happened to Chanoch?
So someone said that he got a job and he went for a shop. Wow. That's what I heard. I don't know. I'm not sure. That's what I heard.
I saw him in the street yesterday,
Yeah.
near the tram. But he was leaving, I think, Machon Meir, but
You stay here?
I don't know. I don't know. You know Chanoch?
Yeah.
From Florida? You seen him around recently?
No, I don't see for like 2 weeks. Right?
Yeah, last week.
Was he?
Yeah.
Was he here every day last week?
No.
Well, I mean, I was out for 1 day. Matzah is still
Jason?
Shmuel Matzah is spelled Mem Samech Rish.
We also have, it comes to with S. And it's not S.
10% of the money that you own is possible.
Ah,
There?
There's the problem.
What?
No, there's a.
Sin.
No, that's not. That guy is different from us.
Yeah,
We just had a memory.
I didn't know that. Sadaka is different from us.
Yeah,
10% of your earning you have to give for a share. And Sadaka is separate from the Masir.
Yes.
Like that.
Wow.
How much does his wife?
This one, the tax here is more than 10%.
Huh?
The tax here is more than 10%.
You don't look at that. Then Masir, then Sadaka. Yo.
There's no ratio. Right?
Yeah, I should ask that. It doesn't say, I think.
There's not.
Yeah,
But you ate the bread, you say how much it is.
I did the whole bit.
They just said mention.
Maybe just think.
Well, this is the question: does it qualify? Is it it's kazait? It's 28 grams.
Maybe it's some biscuits or something.
Take another one.
Then I need to do another 10 TV.
If you have doubt, don't say. Or you can ask for like, Rabbi.
I think it's 20 grams.
No, but
So
for Mizono, it doesn't make sense.
Yes. So the Maser is different from Sadaqah that you give, huh?
That's a good question.
And the government is also taxing it on this.
That's a good question too. Let's talk about it. So, the Shemitah itself is a form of tax. What's the Shemitah for? It's essentially tzedakah. You have a field, you take care of it for 6 years, and you harvest it for 6 years. You sell all of your apples, you sell all of your pomegranates, dates, whatever it is. You've got lemons. Let's talk about lemons, because on Thursday we're picking lemons. You make a lot of money. All of a sudden, in the 7th year, you have to give it all up. You don't make money that year. Excuse me.
The whole year you don't make any money.
You don't make any money on the 7th year.
If you're a farmer.
If you're a farmer, yeah. Farmers used to be the majority. Sorry.
Isn't
It's
there
a tree you don't plant, it just grows.
Yeah.
Right.
New
Well,
tree,
new trees, but you can't do that on the 7th year. You have to wait till the 8th year. Sorry.
You have to wait for 3 years to use a new tree.
That's another law about trees. That there's.
First,
Okay, Tu B'Shvat is only for ilanos?
Yes.
Only for fruit trees?
Yes, only fruit trees.
Wheat and all that's
That's regular. Shemitah is Tishrei, 1st of Tishrei. Everything else
is
is.
Shemitah for wheat?
Yeah, sure. Sure. Yeah, we don't
Same
plant
system.
grain either. Same system, 7th year.
Just different days.
Just different date. The standard date is the 1st of Tishrei for everything except for trees. Trees is unique. Now, there is another system Gedalia mentions called the first 3 years. And that is confusing because it depends when you plant the tree. How old is a tree? You're not allowed to eat the fruit for the first 3 years. But, so you would imagine your birthday. And how old are you today?
20.
When's your birthday?
May 31st.
It's coming up. You're going to be 21, May 31st. Why is May 31st? What? May what?
What? I'm only 20.
He's 20. He's 20. Yeah, he's just big.
wow.
But he's really small. But we're not counting his intellectual capacity here.
Oh.
Ooh. His soul is very large. He's got the biggest heart in the room, okay? Baruch Hashem. So, but seriously, when's your birthday? What day? May what?
May 31st.
May 31st. Do you know what your Hebrew, what the equivalent of that
I
is?
think it's the 24th of Iyar.
So let's talk about the 24th of Iyar. 24th of Iyar. So you're going to turn 21. Mhm.
Mine's right on my
Nice. So you become 3 years old on the 21st of Iyar, right? 22nd of Iyar, you're already 4 years old. So everybody's date is different. Shmuel, when's your birthday? Bet Badar. Ooh, cool. It's coming up soon. After Shvat is Adar, right? How old are you going to be? 50? 45? 61? 35. It's a secret?
Your second guess was on that.
What's that? 45. 45. Very nice. So, everybody's birthday is different. Everybody's birthday is different. How can we say Tu B'Shvat is the birthday for the trees? Every tree's got a different birthday. When's the birthday of each tree? That makes no sense. When should be the birthday of the tree?
What tree? What kind of tree?
Forget about what kind of tree. Every individual tree.
Every year of the
No, you guys are not following me.
This is with
His birthday is the 21st of Iyar. Your birthday is
Adar.
the 4th of Adar, right?
Bet.
Bet Badar. Do you know your Hebrew birthday? It's confusing. When you do Gior, I actually think you should celebrate the birthday of the day you went to the mikveh, the day you became Jewish, not the day you were born. Anyways, my birthday was Yud Zayin Sivan. Every year, Yud Zayin Sivan, I'm now 56. I'm going to become 57. Everybody's birthday is different. So every tree should have a different birthday. When you plant this sapling, give it a name. It's 1 day old, and then a year later, when the same day comes around next year, it should become 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old. So what's this idea of the birthday of the trees? You can't have one birthday for all humans. You can't have one birthday for all trees either. So halachically we do. Just like this. Every plant, we call it year 1, year 2, year 3. What do you mean? Each plant has a different date based on when it's planted, when it was born, when it first sprouted, you could say. So halachically, we have to put together the individual plant's birthday and this cycle of 7 years. How do we make that work? So usually we have to have a cutoff day, right? Between, if it's 7 years, so each year. First of Tishrei is the cutoff day, and that's when. So let's make it simple. Let's say you want to plant a tomato or a cucumber. Okay, so you want to plant a tree. All right, you want to plant a tree. So you want the tree. You're allowed to eat the tree after 3 years. After 3 years, when the tree becomes 3 years old, the fruit of the tree after it becomes 3 years old. So you have to remember what day you planted the tree. And then 3 years later, when it's 3 years old, and a day, then you're allowed to eat the fruit. The truth is, the 4th year, the fruit are holy, very special. You have to take them to the Beit HaMikdash, if there is a Beit HaMikdash. If not, you have to redeem them. We redeem the holiness of the fruit onto coins. But you're allowed to eat it on the 4th year. So you got to remember what day it is. So there's a special law that, but I actually would like to talk about vegetables for a moment before we go back to trees. Let's say you plant a cucumber. If you do it a day before Tishrei, it's considered to be a cucumber of year 1, for example. We're going to see there's a difference in year 1 and year 2 and 3 and 4 as well. But let's say you do it before Shemitah. If you plant a cucumber, a lot of people did this. 1 day before Shemitah, cucumber's yours. Belongs to you. You can harvest it, you can sell it, you can waste it if you need to. You can process it any way you like. And if you planted it a day after Tishrei, a day after the 1st of Tishrei, then, first of all, you shouldn't be planting it, because you're not allowed to plant in the 7th year. But if you did, it would be prohibited. You can't sell it, you can't. So the 1st of Tishrei is the cutoff date between every year for new fruits and new vegetables. The trick is, and the truth is, it's the same for trees. Over here, the beginning of Tishrei is if you plant a tree before the 1st of Tishrei, going into the 7th year, then it's a fruit tree which is considered to have been planted in year number 6. For planting trees or vegetables, what matters is the 1st of Tishrei. Very simple. But wait a minute. We said that the first 3 years, this tree, if it bears fruit, a lot of trees don't bear fruit in the first 3 years. So let's say its birthday is over here. We have a tree that's planted over here. Okay, it's in Shvat, in of the 6th year. And then you have Shvat, Adar, Nisan. Boker Tov. Boker Tov. We'll stop here. We'll continue this system of the 7-year cycle, gearing up for Tu B'Shvat We'll have to explain it more to you, okay? You can practice on this.